World War progressed into its second year, it became evident that a swift, decisive victory was out of reach for both sides. The strategic landscape of the conflict changed dramatically in 1915 with the entry of new belligerents, leading to a significant multiplication of fronts and the broadening of the war's geographical scope. The Ottoman Empire's entry into the war on the side of the Central Powers in late 1914 brought immediate strategic consequences. By early 1915, military operations had spread to the Caucasus and the Arab provinces, where Ottoman forces engaged in battles with Russian and British forces. The Ottoman participation extended the conflict to new theaters, complicating the Allies' military efforts. Seeking to break the deadlock on the Western Front and to re-establish a supply route to Russia, French and British leaders planned an ambitious intervention in the Dardanelles. The Gallipoli campaign, launched in early 1915, aimed to capture the Ottoman capital of Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, by securing the Dardanelles Strait. The initial naval assault failed, leading to a land invasion on the Gallipoli Peninsula in April 1915. However, the campaign was met with fierce resistance from the well-entrenched Ottoman defenders under the command of Mustafa Kemal, later known as Ataturk. The Allies suffered heavy casualties and by the end of the year were forced to withdraw, marking a significant defeat. We will cover this campaign more in details in our next video. In May 1915, after months of negotiation and deliberation, Italy abandoned its neutrality and joined the Allies. Motivated by promises of territorial gains, particularly in the region of Trentino and the city of Trieste, the Italian army launched a series of offensives against Austro-Hungarian forces along the Isonzo River, known as the Battles of the Isonzo. Despite numerous attempts, the Italian offensives resulted in high casualties and minimal territorial gains due to the formidable Austro-Hungarian defenses. The German General Staff, recognizing the opportunity to exploit the weaker Russian front, shifted its focus eastward. In May 1915, combined German and Austro-Hungarian forces launched a series of coordinated offensives in Lithuania, Poland, and Galicia. These offensives, including the Gorlice-Tarnow offensive, resulted in significant territorial gains and inflicted heavy losses on the Russian army. By mid-September, the front had moved to a line extending from Riga to the Romanian border. Despite these setbacks, the Russian army was not decisively defeated, continuing to pose a threat to the Central Powers. On the Western Front, the French army, under General Joseph Joffre, launched multiple offensives in an effort to break through the entrenched German lines. These attacks, characterized by intense artillery bombardments followed by infantry assaults, resulted in substantial casualties for minimal gains. One of the most significant of these offensives was the Second Battle of Champagne, launched on September 25, 1915. Preceded by 3 days of heavy artillery bombardment, the Franco-British forces attempted to breach the German defenses but were met with fierce resistance and counterattacks that quickly sealed any breakthroughs. In the autumn of 1915, Bulgaria joined the Central Powers, significantly altering the strategic balance in the Balkans. Bulgarian forces, in coordination with German and Austro-Hungarian troops, launched an offensive against Serbia. The Serbian army, already weakened by previous battles and outnumbered, was unable to withstand the combined assault. Despite the landing of French and British forces in Salonika, or modern-day Thessaloniki, to support their Serbian ally, the intervention came too late to prevent the collapse of Serbia. The Serbian army, along with thousands of civilian refugees, conducted a harrowing retreat through the mountains of Albania to reach the safety of Allied ships on the Adriatic coast. The events of 1915 underscored the complexity and scale of the First World War. The failure of the Gallipoli campaign and the limited successes of the Italian offensives highlighted the challenges of achieving decisive victories in the face of entrenched defenses and well-coordinated enemy responses. The German and Austro-Hungarian victories on the Eastern Front demonstrated the potential for significant territorial gains, but also illustrated the difficulties in completely neutralizing a major power like Russia. The multiplication of fronts stretched the resources and strategic focus of all belligerents. The entrance of new participants, such as Italy and Bulgaria, further complicated the alliances and increased the number of battlefronts. Each new front brought additional logistical challenges and necessitated the allocation of more troops and supplies, leading to an even greater strain on national economies and military infrastructures. The campaigns of 1915 provided several strategic and tactical lessons. The importance of intelligence and reconnaissance was underscored by the successes and failures on various fronts. The role of artillery in modern warfare was further emphasized, as massive bombardments became a prelude to infantry assaults. However, these bombardments often failed to achieve the desired effect, as defenders adapted by building deeper and more resilient trench systems. The year also highlighted the limitations of offensive operations against well-prepared defenses. Both the Allies and the Central Powers recognized the need for improved coordination, better logistical support, and more innovative tactics to break the stalemate that characterized much of the war. As 1915 drew to a close, it was clear that the war would not end quickly. The initial hopes for swift, decisive victories had been dashed, and both sides prepared for a prolonged conflict. The multiplication of fronts ensured that the war would continue to spread, drawing in more nations and resources. The strategic decisions and battles of 1915 set the stage for the even more extensive and deadly campaigns that would follow, shaping the course of the First World War and the future of Europe.